Hey, I'm about to go pick up a movie from Blockbuster. You want me to grab you anything?
Blockbuster? Blockbuster hasn't existed in years.
Wait, okay, well, I'm gonna go grab some electronics from Circuit City. What about those?
Circuit City? Are you crazy? Come on now.
What about a Kodak digital camera?
Now you're just being plain stupid.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of 4 Minutes a Game. If you haven't noticed from the intro, today's lesson is going to be about failed businesses and what you learned from those. So today's prompt is, what was the biggest failure in your business and what did you learn from it? So the biggest failure in my business was not following the money. We made a ton of mistakes back in my days of VersaFit, but it pretty much all boils down to not following the money. So that brings me to the first point in today's video, false starts. So during the VersaFit days, we had a ton of false starts. And it started off with software. So the first version of our app, it took a lot longer than we expected. We spent a lot more money on it than we expected. Then we finally got it live. It was crashing with only 10 active users, right? It was just a giant waste of time and our money. And then we moved on to the second version of the app, which looked amazing. It was a much better looking app and a much better performing app, but we also had a bunch of false starts with that same company. So every time we expected to have our software go live, we would spend $5,000 on an event here, $10,000 on an event there. We had about 6 false starts with that company as well. So you can imagine how expensive this is starting to get. And then also, one of those false starts was we were about to secure a mansion for $30,000. And we didn't even have $30,000 to spend on this mansion. But this mansion is the same place that they did the Snapchat launch party at. And I talked to the woman who was in charge of securing, she was in charge of securing different companies to come in and book this mansion. And I told her, I was like, hey, we see that a bunch of tech companies have their launches here. Like, how does that work? And she told us, hey, we like you guys. We want you to have your party here. It's 30,000. You need to put down a deposit, but if you put down your deposit, we will help you sponsor this party. And so I'm thinking, like, wait, what does that mean? She's like, well, anybody who throws a party here, big companies are going to want to know why you're throwing a party there. So we have tons of sponsors that pay just to be at that party because they want to know which company is bold enough to rent out this mansion, because it's always being rented out by up and coming tech companies. So I'm like, man, this is a huge opportunity. But again, our software wasn't going to be ready in time to make that date, so we missed out on that. We missed out on that party at that mansion as well. So that brings me to the second point of my video: fashion. So our VersaFit branded clothing and our VersaFit branded hats and gear, all the stuff we were wearing, was actually doing really well. People actually still wear these clothes to this day. We also had an opportunity to put our clothing in UCI's bookstore. So shout out to Ryan and Brianna for helping us out with those type of on-campus deals. But as a company, we chose not to do it because we wanted to focus more on the app, which I'll touch on a little bit later. But we had a huge opportunity there, and we can still see it to this day. Like, people are still wearing our gear because we sourced high quality material, and we put our brand on high quality gear that no matter how long you wash it. This shirt is several years old. This hat is 4 or 5 years old, and it still holds up and stands to the test of time. So that actually brings me to the final point of this video: not getting into events sooner and focusing way too much on our app. So we had a lot of competition in our space, and some of our competitors had millions of dollars in funding. And the one key difference that we had that other people didn't have was we were actually putting on our own events, and our own events were actually successful. I think our first big event, we sold 200 tickets. We gave away another 100 tickets, so we had about 300 people throughout the day coming to our first big fitness event. And we had sponsors paid to be at our fitness events. And it was just showing that, hey, there's revenue coming here, but we were so focused on the app because the app had billion-dollar potential that we glossed over the fact that we could have put together a bunch of micro events, right? So one idea that one of our mentors gave us was Stop trying to invest in throwing huge events and do micro events by hacking other people's events. And by hacking other people's events, you save on the cost of marketing and the cost of, driving people to that event. So for example, we could spend $2,000, set up like an event or a stage at Coachella, which has several thousand people, and have our own fitness event in the middle of Coachella, and people would naturally want to come over and see what it's about and participate, and in exchange either pay for our gear or download our app and then spread the word. And that was a huge opportunity that we missed, and I wish we had the opportunity to go back and do that again. But again, hindsight is 2020. We went through all these mistakes and we didn't follow the money, which was the whole core of everything. If we'd have just stuck with the things that were making us money and use what was making us money to then go and fund our big $1 billion idea, which was the app, then we would have been much better off, and our business doors would probably still be open. So hopefully this video has helped you in some way. And if there's some part of your business that's making more money than your big dream, go and chase that money and use that money to fund the big dream. Don't give up on the big dream. Just make sure that, hey, if this is making me money right now, that's where I need to spend my energy. And you spend your energy, you get the money there, and then you funnel it into the big idea. Never give up on the big idea, but take those easy wins. All right, once again, everybody, take care. Peace.